What's up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you day 2 of my 12 days of Christmas horror, and I'm actually filming this video on the same day that I did the Silent Night Deadly Night video, but the difference is it became freezing in my home, so I am wearing a hoodie, but anyway, perfect, I guess, time to be watching these Christmas movies, because there's some snow on the ground, and it's getting freezing outside, which I personally hate, but it's a good time to sit back and watch some Christmas-themed films. So today I am here to talk about a movie that just came out last year, and that is Red Christmas. Now, this is an Australian film, and it does, I believe, take place in Australia. The movie is centered around this dysfunctional family that the mother is kind of head, played by Dee Wallace. I believe all these kids are adopted by Dee Wallace and her late husband, except for their son, who happens to have Down syndrome, but all the other ones are adopted, and they have very different, clashing personalities going on that you see throughout the film. You have one who is very, very religious and reserved, and I believe it's just her and her husband, and then you also have this other daughter who is more outgoing and into, like, you could tell she's like more into smoking weed and drinking and just not really caring, and she also has a husband and she is pregnant. Then you have another daughter who I think she's still living at home. I believe she's still a teenager, and she's in her last year of high school, and she's just your typical teenager. Then of course you have Jerry, the son with Down syndrome. I believe he's probably, I would say, in his early 20s or something like that, and of course he lives at home still because he does have that disability going for him. So you have this big family, and they all get together for Christmas at the mother's house, and as I said, they're very dysfunctional. They're all kind of fighting throughout, bickering, and throwing jabs at each other for each other's different beliefs and the ways of living and stuff like that. So it's very, very chaotic, but the mother is kind of determined to have a good Christmas with them all, and she's just very grateful to have them all there as a family. So while they're kind of hanging out and getting ready to have dinner and things like that, a mysterious man comes to the door. He's wearing a cloak, and it looks like his face is all kind of bandaged up, as well as his hands and things like that, so you can't really see at all what he looks like. He's got kind of a strange voice as well, and sort of talks kind of slow, and you get the feeling that there's probably something wrong with this person, but they're kind enough to let him inside because it seems like he may be lost and obviously has something a bit off about him. They soon regret that decision and throw him out and go on with their night, but then it turns out this guy has a motive for being there, and he comes back to seek some revenge. So that is kind of what's going on in this movie. This movie does become yet another Christmas-themed slasher, which is interesting because last year in particular, it didn't seem like really any slashers came out at all. I really couldn't even think of any other slasher that I saw last year off the top of my head besides this movie. So that's pretty interesting, especially because it is a Christmas-themed one. I thought it was pretty cool. The movie itself, when it comes to Christmas, like I said, it's set in an area where it obviously does not snow. It's clear that it's probably sunny and hot most of the year, so there's no snow on the ground or anything like that. It looks like it's actually pretty hot outside, which is kind of confusing because there's a moment in this movie where they ask Cletus, who's the mysterious guy who shows up, they ask him to come inside out of the cold, but then later on they're outside wearing dresses, so I'm not sure what kind of temperature they were going for this particular evening, but the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't really feel overly Christmassy because you don't have snow, and for me, snow and just the vibe that it's freezing and kind of miserable in a way is the vibe that kind of makes me get into the Christmas spirits and feel like this is going to be a very Christmassy movie, but it just does not have that, and it's not its fault. It's an Australian film. I mean, it's set where it's set, so it's not, you know, at least they didn't put a bunch of fake snow out. They're very honest with the kind of movie and setting that you're getting, but they do a good job with the decorations around the house and inside the house. There are a lot of lights and a beautiful Christmas tree, and of course everyone is kind of dressed up for the occasion, especially the son Jerry. He's wearing a Santa hat throughout and a Christmas sweater, so they do a good job of showing you that it is Christmas time, and they're trying to at least get into the spirit. For me, though, it really just doesn't ooze Christmas necessarily. The first portion of the movie, I would say, has a few comedic moments just with the family bickering and all that. The first time I saw this movie, I will say I did not care for it too much. First time, of course, being last year, since that's when this came out. I watched it as a movie for 2017 prep, and I would say this one and, what was it called, Better Watch Out were the two big Christmas movies to come out last year, and Better Watch Out I thought was far superior to this film in particular, so I was interested to give it the rewatch to see if I would feel the same way, and I'll say this time around I did like it decently, a good bit more than the first time. I wouldn't say a lot more, but I did like it a little bit more than on the first watch, and I feel like I paid attention a little better as well. My main problem is with the family in general, especially the one daughter who is pregnant. For some reason, I hate that thing in horror movies, that inconvenience, I guess you could say, is when you have a female who's pregnant. I don't know what it is, but that just bothers the heck out of me. I'm just like, oh great, this is, you know, this is going to come into play later on in the film. She's going to be completely helpless and inconvenient, and she's going to end up going into labor, which you do get that at the end of the film, which is another thing I don't really care for, is that's kind of all that's going on with that character by the end, is you get a bunch of scenes of her just screaming and trying to have this baby, and that's about it. So that character in particular just kind of got on my nerves, and some other moments with the family annoyed me as well, but there were some parts that were pretty comedic and very typical of families that don't get along very well that I did enjoy. When you get into the slasher portions of the film, I think that the kills are pretty brutal and gory and gross. There's one that I really liked in particular that I'm not going to go into because there's no need to really spoil all the kills, but I thought they were pretty well done, but at the same time, they're all done within this house mainly, or if not, just outside in the yard or right next to the house, and while the claustrophobic feel is great and everything, I almost feel like I kind of got bored with the just stalking, killing thing that was going on, dynamic, if you will. I don't know, I just kind of get taken out of it a little bit towards the end. It does have a lot of nice visuals with the lights in the house. You get a lot of really pretty greens, reds, and blues going on, and it almost feels kind of like an Italian film or something like that, so I thought that was pretty cool and did add a little bit to the Christmas vibe. The ending, I would say, is pretty dark in general, and I do enjoy that about it, but overall, this film, probably not one that I would rewatch every Christmas, as I said I would with Silent Night, Deadly Nights. It just isn't one of my favorites. Like I said, it grew on me a little bit since the first time watch, but I still just have my issues with it. It doesn't really have a great Christmas feel to it based on just the lack of snow and winter vibe behind it. The characters get on my nerves a little bit, but overall I think it's an interesting story. I do like a good Christmas slasher. I think that's an interesting concept, and it does have its really dark and gloomy moments to it. So with that being said, I give this one a 7 out of 10, and that's probably honestly the same rating I gave it last year. I didn't go back and look or anything, but I would stick with a 7 out of 10. Even if I liked it a little more, I still had problems with it, and it's not one that has much rewatchability for me. So 7 out of 10 for Red Christmas. Thank you guys once again for joining me for day number 2 of my 12 days of Christmas horror, and I will see you tomorrow with day number 3.